Monday, October 28, 1991. Royal guests in the Limestone City. Prince Charles and Diana, his princess, came ashore from the Royal Yacht Britannia punctually at 10:30 this morning. Our NewsHour coverage begins as the visit did at Kingston's historic City Hall.
The signature of a royal couple inscribed earlier today here at City Hall by Charles, the Prince of Wales and heir, and his wife Diana, the Princess of Wales. Good evening. I'm Dick Trotter.
And I'm Christine Ross. It has been one busy day in the Limestone City as the royal couple moved from formal to less formal events. On this special edition of NewsHour, we'll look at the events of the day, the events leading up to the visit, and the security it required.
Christine and her entire news-gathering crew have been on the go throughout the day preparing for this evening's newscast. When the royal couple came ashore this morning, Catherine Melville was there.
A picture-perfect day as the royal barge brought the Prince and Princess of Wales to meet the crowds at Kingston City Hall. The excitement reached a feverish pitch as Prince Charles and Diana, Princess of Wales, stepped ashore right at 10:30. They were welcomed by local politicians and Kingston Mayor Helen Cooper. They then made their way through the crowd where they were a royal hit.
We gave her a teddy bear. Oh, I can't believe this. She asked if it was for us or if it was for her, or if it was for William. I'm just so excited.
I'm just really hoarse and my hands are cold, but I got a lot of pictures of him too. I got to shake his hand.
She said, how long have you been here? And we said, we've been here since 5 o'clock. And she says, wow. And that was it. She shook her hand. And I'm nudging my cousin. She did it. She did it.
Many people didn't meet them, but just seeing Charles and Diana was exciting enough.
Oh, I'm thrilled. The thrill of my life. I come from England, and I've just become an immigrant in Canada, and they're a wonderful symbol of my country.
Oh, they were great. I was kind of disappointed, like, they weren't here too long, but, oh, it was really nice.
They didn't talk that well.
Yeah. We had to skip school to come and see them, so.
Kingston aldermen did get a chance to meet the royal couple. The Premier's office had dictated initially that aldermen could not greet them, but apparently those plans changed last night. Alderman Gary Bennett asked Premier Bob Rae this morning about trying to take over the civic reception.
Well, when I met Bob Rae, I asked him quite honestly why he had invited himself to the city of Kingston, and he quite bluntly reiterated that he did not invite himself, and then I asked him who invited him, and he had no answer. He just merely walked away and got in his car.
The royal couple were unaware of the controversy. They stood on the podium to give the crowd what it wanted.
Your Royal Highnesses, it is indeed a profound honor for the people of the city of Kingston and for people from the Kingston area to be able to welcome you to our community.
Charles and Diana signed the city's guest book and greeted more people before leaving City Hall. Excitement has been building in Kingston for weeks. Charles and Diana certainly didn't let this crowd down. They put on a real royal show. But the primary purpose for their visit is Queen's University's sesquicentennial celebrations. For CKWS News, I'm Catherine Melville at City Hall. From here, it was on to the Queen's campus, where Bill Morrison picks up the story.
The centerpiece of sesquicentennial celebrations currently underway on this historic campus. Thousands of onlookers turned out to see the Prince and Princess of Wales. The royal couple paid a visit to the university in recognition of its 150th anniversary. After being officially welcomed by Chancellor Agnes Benedictson and Principal David Smith, the Prince was officially robed for convocation ceremonies. As they made their way over to Grant Hall, the Princess of Wales stopped periodically to chat with the crowd, a gesture which was much appreciated.
They've been my idol since I was 10. Yes, this day is a dream come true.
I was from Northern Ireland, and it's really exciting to see your actual future king and queen. It's very, very exciting.
After receiving an honorary Doctor of Laws degree, the heir to the British throne delivered a 20-minute speech focusing on a number of world issues, including Canada's constitutional problems.
The world, in brief, needs Canada. I believe that these many and varied strengths will stand Canada in excellent stead as the country wrestles with the challenges which lie ahead of responding to the aspirations of the original inhabitants of this land, of affirming Quebec's distinct nature, of equipping Canada with the means of meeting the economic challenges of the next century.
Hundreds of people listened to the speech on loudspeakers outside, and many felt the Prince made a strong statement about Canadian unity.
I thought it was very nice. I was very impressed. They spoke in both English and French. That's really good.
I thought it was really good. He had a lot to say. I was mainly here to see Princess Diana, but it was nice to see him as well. Glad he honored our campus with his presence.
Minister of the Environment, the Honorable Jean Charest, greeted His Royal Highness outside, where he unveiled a plaque designating Queen's University a National Historic Site. The Prince later had lunch at the John Deutsch Center and toured the Agnes Etherington Arts Center. Bill Morrison, CKWS News.
After the speech carried live on CKWS television this morning, the visit then became a two-parter, with the couple going their individual itineraries. While Charles lunched informally with the students at Queen's University, his wife Diana went on to a more formal engagement.
And that was at the Princess of Wales' own regiment on Montreal Street. It was a military reception complete with a parade. The Princess arrived half an hour late, but this regiment has been waiting years, so 30 minutes was nothing. There was one brief interruption. A police car rear-ended another in full view of the Princess, who had this reaction. The Princess of Wales, as the name suggests, is the colonel-in-chief of this regiment, a role she takes seriously. Keeping with military tradition, the Princess, like other colonels, meet and talk to the soldiers, a task she carried out numerous times during her inspection of the Honor Guard. Norman Sudds, who joined the regiment in 1938, was close enough to hear some of her comments.
Well, she asked him how many nights a week that he attended when he joined, and at that time it was one night a week. So that's all I heard her say to him.
Today is bittersweet for Lieutenant Colonel Ike Kennedy, the commander of this regiment for 3 years. He's retiring, and what better send-off?
Yes, indeed. In fact, as I mentioned a moment ago, it's probably a better way to come in, but it is nonetheless one heck of a way to go out.
The crowds jostled for the best positions, and the creators of this banner were overwhelmed by the Princess.
I think the first thing that ran through my mind was, she's a real person, and that really struck me. I'm used to seeing her on TV, and I guess the reality of it, because she was on TV all the time, didn't strike me until I actually saw her in person.
Once the public reception was complete, Her Royal Highness was ushered inside the armory for a private lunch. Friends of the regiment were invited inside to mingle with the Princess, all hoping for a face-to-face meeting with the future Queen.
I'm sure it'll be very exciting to talk to her. I hope I get the chance.
Have you thought of anything you want to say to her if she approaches?
I'd like to talk about her children, since I have children. And that's her background, actually, as a child care worker. So I'm sure she has a lot of recommendations for a young parent.
After lunch, the Princess witnessed the change of command ceremony. Lieutenant Colonel Kennedy hands command over to Lieutenant Colonel Morecambe. Even in such formal settings, the Princess looks relaxed. She didn't leave empty-handed. She received a brooch and didn't hesitate to pin it on her jacket. And she was given 3 jackets, 1 for her, 2 for her sons. After her 2-hour visit, she was gone, but left behind some vivid memories.
We called her and she turned over.
Especially when I said, "You're gorgeous."
Yes, he said, "You're gorgeous."
When I was a little girl, I used to wait in front of Buckingham Palace with my mum. So that was, I was born in England.
Right.
So this is tradition for me.
And just a sparkling display of pomp and ceremony, and of course, the real crowd pleaser that she is didn't disappoint them again today.
And neither did the weather, really. It was kind of sparkling, too. Maybe just a little bit on the chilly side, but all in all, nice sunshine, clear blue skies, and you threw a jacket on, no trouble royal watching. Right, Christine? Montreal Street was the focus of attention for royal watchers this afternoon, as Charles paid a visit to the John Howard Society facility, while Diana spent some time at the Rita Crest home.
And Mike Postevit has the first of 2 reports on those visits.
Even though this was the final stop on the Prince's portion of the tour, it didn't make it any less important. He was met at the John Howard Society by Executive Director Nikki McShane. Charles is said to have a general interest in young offenders and prison rehabilitation. While inside, he sat in on a volunteer training session and met with other officials. It was then on to the woodworking shop at the rear of the building, where he met with those who take advantage of the Prison Reform Agency.
And then he asked me about my past, what I did before, and I told him. And very pleasant man, just
very pleasant, you know.
How about you? Pretty much the same?
Oh, I was quite shocked. I just thought, you know, he'd walk in and take a quick look and right back out. And he came right up to me and asked what I was doing and, you know, asked what I thought of the program and how long it ran. And I was quite surprised, you know. It was really nice.
It feels good to feel first class since where we've been and incarcerated for many years. And I guess it's just, to me, I believe it's just saying that, hey, we're human too, just like anybody else out there in the streets.
Before leaving, the prince was presented with a pin set that was made on the premises. After that, he met with some of the staff members.
Is it rewarding?
Very, very
rewarding.
Yeah, very rewarding. Very much.
From there, Charles met with members of the public. But before he left the Montreal Street location, he was confronted by a high five.
I'm not so used to that.
For CKWS News, I'm Mike Postovit. Following Prince Charles at the John Howard Society workshop, Diane Tenwald is watching as Diana, the Princess of Wales, arrives at Rideau Crest.
It was the Princess of Wales' last stop of the day on land. She was invited to Rideau Crest to join in a birthday celebration and tour the activities room. A choir of school children from the north end of Frontenac County serenaded the crowds while waiting for the princess to leave the facilities. Like every other stop, crowds came early to claim their spot, some for very specific reasons.
I'm hoping I'll get an autograph. I'm hoping.
One of the best vantage points of the day was the driver's seat of the car that chauffeured the Princess of Wales to each stop. This RCMP officer told us she was very pleasant, talked with him, and was nice to work with. The crowds were very patient until Princess Di emerged from Rideau Crest. Perched from every vantage point, hundreds were on hand to witness this historic visit and the last walkabout of the day in Kingston. To everyone we talked with, it was worth the wait.
Oh, about 35 minutes. But this morning I went and stood for an hour and didn't see anything. So I'm very thrilled. It was very worthwhile.
She's so beautiful. You know something? That's a woman I adore.
And you got to see her?
Yes.
Did you ever think you'd ever have that chance?
I never thought it. My age? No.
There are very few unhappy faces in the city of Kingston today as the royal couple wraps up their whirlwind tour of the Limestone City. This concludes the public portion of the Royal Visit 1991. I'm Diane Tenwald, CKWS News, Rideau Crest. Now back to Chris and Dick, who are at City Hall where this busy day began.
Diane mentioned the end of the public part of the day. Tonight, a glittering private dinner will be hosted by the royal couple on board the Britannia as she lies anchor between here and Wolfe Island. That gets underway just after 8.
All in all, quite a day.
Well, beautiful weather today for the royal visit, as Dick and Chris mentioned earlier on. It's going to continue this way right on through Wednesday. Clear and rather cool tonight, though, low around freezing. Tomorrow, mainly sunny, a high of 10. Mainly sunny on Wednesday again, a high of 12. I'll have complete details later on NewsHour.
And coming up on this special edition of NewsHour, we focus on security today for the royal visit in Kingston.
And when we return, a close-up report on Queen's 150th birthday and the royal visit.
The 4th and 7th callers with the correct answer to tonight's CKWS NewsHour question of the day will each receive a gift certificate for dining at Aunt Lucy's restaurant located on Princess Street at Portsmouth and a double invitation to see Frankie and Johnny at the Capital 7 Cinemas in downtown Kingston. Here is tonight's question. What honorary degree did Prince Charles receive at Queen's University today? Call 650-2597 if you know the correct answer.
Over a lifetime, man spends 122 days.
There is no better way to clean your
simple thing. Finally, the waiting is over. Introducing McDonald's personal-size pizza. Freshly baked in revolutionary ovens in minutes. McDonald's personal-size pizza. For traditional taste without the wait.
I didn't order onions.
My mistake. Take a seat.
The waiting is over.
It's a big, bright world of better buys. Repeat building supplies.
Add a new dimension to your decorating with the quality and beauty of genuine burnt clay bricks. Rigney's has over 100 colors in stock, patterns, textures, shades for that extra dimension and creativity, both indoors and out. And to help with landscaping, Rigney's now has plastic culverts.
It's a big, bright world of better buys. Rigney Building Supplies.
I just don't see how that a one-hour place can turn out a good quality pair of glasses.
That was Paul McCowan's opinion before accepting LensCrafters Doubters Challenge. Now, listen.
The glasses that I got are excellent. They are a bifocal, and they turned them out, like I said, in just about an hour. I couldn't believe that. I would recommend LensCrafters to anybody, and I would definitely go back to LensCrafters.
LensCrafters in Cataraqui Town Center, lower level near the bay.
It's the 12-hour Wild Wednesday sale at the Brick, with everything on sale in every single department. Wild Wednesday at the Brick. It's the big one. Final 12 hours with the prices you want and a selection that's mammoth. Hurry to the Brick's 12-hour Wild Wednesday sale. Your last chance to save. Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
A good portion of Prince Charles' time today was spent at Queen's University. As seen on CKWS television earlier today, he spoke to a packed house at Grant Hall. He was the focal point of the university's sesquicentennial celebration. Tonight on Close Up, Catherine Melville reports on the 150th birthday of Queen's University.
Visit to Queen's University is icing on the birthday cake. University officials have been actively campaigning since 1986 to make this visit a reality.
It's a coup, and it certainly will draw a lot of attention to Queen's and to Kingston.
University officials say the royal couple likely wouldn't have included Kingston in their Ontario tour if Queen's hadn't made exhaustive efforts to request the royal presence.
City part of it, if you like. I don't like to say this, but it really is kind of an add-on, and obviously they have to come to the city and before they come to see us. But this is why they came to Kingston. I'm sure of that.
Queen's tried to get the royals on the actual birthday, October 16th, but it wasn't possible. Canada's Governor-General Ray Nittichen presided over ceremonies on the 16th in Grant Hall to register Queen's coat of arms in Canada.
In recognition of the university's unique history and its role over the years in shaping Canada.
Nittichen also unveiled the commemorative stamp issued by Canada Post. Principal David Smith then tried to cut the cake. The party moved outside where students and alumni expressed their feelings about the festivities.
Just a sense of pride of being part of it. Maybe a little warm-eyed, because it's a very special time and a very special occasion.
Queen's birthday ended with a special convocation ceremony. 11 honorary degrees were handed out. The Governor-General received an honorary Doctor of Laws.
In the name of this university and by the authority of a royal charter, I admit you to this degree with all its rights and privileges.
The sesquicentennial celebrations and the royal visit leave Principal David Smith with one regret.
How marvelous it would be for the people who've worked so hard over the last 150 years to see a bit of this, because it's an accumulative thing. It takes a lot of work to build Queens, and I think that just so many have added something, and I just wish they could all be here to enjoy it.
Catherine Melville, CKWS News.
We'll have more on the royal visit later on NewsHour. Right now, a preview of what's happening in your sporting world with Mark Potter.
Coming up later on NewsHour Sports, we'll look back to the ending of what many are calling one of the greatest World Series. The Minnesota Twins beat the Atlanta Braves in game number 7. Eddie Belfour has ended his holdout and rejoined the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Washington Redskins are the NFL's only undefeated team. Details on these stories and more sports later on NewsHour. Christine?
Also ahead tonight, Dave Clark will check the weather forecast.